Hello, everybody. I'm Dorothy. We're going to talk about the full moon lunar eclipse on November 8th. I'm just going to jump right into it. There's an awful lot to cover, and I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see the chart that I'm looking at. And for those of you who are astrologers, you get to follow along. And those of you who just want to hear about how to maneuver this energy that we have coming up, and we're really in it deep already, just listen to the words. Don't get overwhelmed by the astrology bits. Just listen to, and that means, and you will be able to understand this perfectly without glazing over or thinking, I don't know enough about astrology to listen. So please do that for yourself. This is what the chart looks like for me in my latitude and longitude. This is exactly what the eclipse looks like, but it just might be in a different place depending on where you live on the planet. And you have to adjust for your own time zone. This is a full moon lunar eclipse. This full moon, it engages Mercury, the sun, Venus, that's this sector, and the south node. Straight across the chart is the full moon, the moon, Uranus, and the north node. So that is what a full moon lunar eclipse looks like in a flat chart. Okay. So what we are here to learn and understand about this eclipse is a lot. So I'm pretty sure most of you can recognize or have already heard that on November 8th, while it is a lunar eclipse, it is also election day here in the United States. So there's a lot of people focusing on that political battlefield, right? We are quite divisive right now. Things are so divided up that it's just impossible to not feel the stress and the tension about it, because this whole situation is just sucking any positive energy out of the air that it possibly can. So first off, spend time and unplug where you can, all right? But stay engaged in what's important for you. Go ahead and vote, share what you believe, but also make sure you take that time for yourself. This is going to be so important during this eclipse, so we can do what we need to do, but also find the space so we can use these energies, excuse me, in a more productive way. And because this energy of this eclipse is super productive, we have an opportunity here to be very innovative and very creative. Full moons represent an opportunity to work in tandem with anybody who is a partner with you. And it also shows us and gives us that opportunity, full moon in Taurus, to really define what we value and what's important to us. The conjunction to Uranus at this point simply means, it's not a very simple thing, because it's really actually very impossible to predict what Uranus will do. He is always going to give us the unexpected to keep us on our toes, so we aren't so stuck in the mundane and stuck in the old ways in the old world. And that's what we have going on here with this square to Saturn. You can see that there's this massive red lines in here between these eclipse planets and Saturn. And that tells us is that we need to be, and when it's asking us, the planets are showing us, and the energies are asking us to please, please, please find new and inventive and creative ways to work, to live on this planet, to be in harmony with each other. It is quite difficult at this point in time. And even with all of these guys coming together, this other measurement over here called declination, everybody's all crammed up. They're either parallel or contra-parallel with each other. And that creates even a more dynamic with this chart that we have up here in front of us. So I want you to look at how you personally can take processes, take steps for yourself where you can feel your own self-worth. Find a way to be more grounded in your values. What is your self-worth? How can you take those steps so you feel more of a sense of purpose? That's what This is on a personal level. That's how I see this, on a personal level. So with these eclipses, making all the connections they're making, it as well is asking us to be resourceful. That's that resourceful. That's that Venus and the Mercury with the sun. How can we be resourceful? How can we do this? Full moons always create awareness, and all of the cards are on the table when it comes to full moons, because it's lit. The world is lit for 24 hours and longer. So there is no darkness. We have the sun during the day and we have the full moon during the night. So this is why everything comes to the surface. But I feel over the last year, especially, while these eclipses that we've had in 2022 have been in the sign of Taurus and Scorpio, the transiting lunar nodes have been there as well. They have 6 more months to go. That represents, those lunar nodes are that place in space where the sun, the moon, and the earth line up, and they create those eclipses. So when we have this pattern happening, this cycle going on between the lunar nodes and the eclipses, that is what we're looking at. We're focusing on social matters. We're focusing on things that are about Taurus, so food, security or insecurity. The Scorpio energy is the dialogue and the dynamic that we have between the people in power and the people not in power. There's just this back and forth. It's the weather, it's the earth, how we're treating her. There's a lot of, I'm going to talk about the food too, again, because that Taurus energy is super strong. That is food insecurity and scarcity. And in Africa, they are just about at a famine state at this point in time. I don't remember which country in Africa it is. However, I apologize for not remembering. But that is just, it's very easy for us to see where the energy of this eclipse and these lunar nodes over the last year have been pushing us forward as a humanity. And again, you can see that there's a lot of resistance to change, because those that are in power don't want to let go of it. Why would they? So we're needing to find our own inner light and our own inner security and self-reliance. And so that is something that we can all do with this lunar eclipse. I'm going to stop my share. So I hope that you can find that sense in yourself. Now, I'm going to grab my notes really quick, because I want to also talk about the lunar gestation cycle that this full moon is connected to. Been playing with this for quite a few years now. I absolutely love this process. It's written out on my website. So if you please go join my newsletter email list, and I will send it to your inbox, so you're able to read it right there in your own time. The new moon that is associated with the November 8th full moon eclipse was on May 11th, 2021, and it was at 21 degrees of Taurus. All right. So this is when you can get and bring this back to something that's personal to you. All right. What were your new moon intentions? What things were you setting? What goals or what things happened around that May 11th time period? Now, when we do our new moon, we always focus on that zodiac sign, and that zodiac sign is Taurus. So what were your goals then? Were you focusing on more money, focusing on what you value? Were you focusing on food security, your daily needs? Was there abundance or a lack of abundance? What were you focusing on? What were your new moon wishes and or your goals at that point in time? And again, some things happen within a few days of that time period. Again, May 11, 2021, 18 months ago. That is something that I want you to look at. So, I mean, I know what was going on then for me, and it was absolutely something that I'm looking forward to see how I know how it's manifesting. Now, this is called the lunar gestation cycle for a reason. It starts at every new moon, and it lasts for 3 years because it goes in 9-month increments. So May 11, 2021, first part of this lunar phase that our eclipse is in. The next 9 months later was February 8th, 2022. Now, that's the first quarter. That's when the sun and the moon are at a 90-degree angle to each other at the same area that the new moon was on May of 2021 and of this November eclipse that we're having. Same area, right around 20 degrees of Taurus. February 8th, 2022, first quarter, sun moon square. This means there's a lot of, there can be tension, there can be stress. However, there's challenges, but this always brings us to a point that we can accomplish something. It gives us courage and the strength to do what we need to do. And 9 months later, here we are on November 8th, 2022, a full moon, and it's an eclipse. So that is like supercharged. It's like hitting the accelerator in your the accelerator in your car. As long as you press it, you're going to go faster and faster and faster, right? Take your foot off the accelerator. That's a normal new moon or full moon. So when we have this eclipse at a full moon, part of this bigger cycle, you're going to be able to see what is important for you and what has been going on in your world. It may bring me back to me. I was reading my notes there. I'm going to share one more time. Here's that. Now, we also need to be quite aware that Mars retrograde in the sign of Gemini, it does make a square to these guys, but mainly I want to talk about just Mars and Gemini. There is a separate video out for that, and it's over on my YouTube channel, or if you're on my YouTube channel, this goes to a few places first. That Mars and Gemini as a retrograde planet, it's been sitting still. It turned retrograde on October 30th. So it's been sitting still for a while now, and it's really not moving, even though it's officially retrograde. We need to be aware of this. Take your time. Don't argue. Don't fight. There's nothing wrong with having a good conversation and, a debate with somebody about an opinion, but we have to pay attention and not be completely shut off. But we see the debates and we see all of this in our political platform right now. But excuse me, in your own personal world, do you need to have a conversation with somebody? Mars will be retrograde till January 12th of 2023. So we do have an opportunity to go over for quite a few weeks, to go over anything that's a contract, conversation, dialogue, listen, research. All of these things are things that we can do while Mars is retrograde in the sign of Gemini. It's a lot. There's a lot here. There's so much tension. And here in New England, if I was to, just for, let me put the display points back. Yes, this is solar fire. If I was, for those of us here on the East Coast of the United States, this also makes all the way through, I think, the mid-Atlantic states. The midheaven is involved with this eclipse. So we have a fixed grand cross. So I'm not sure we're going to make too many changes politically. I want us to, but I'm not sure we're going to. It's always good to change the guard, right? I'm just going to stop right there. I don't want to go too political because I don't want to. I don't like it. All right. I'm going to do the year ahead 2023, and that will be on Sunday coming up. Let me get the date. Sunday, November 6th. The tickets are right on my website. I'll put the link below. All right, everybody. All right. Deep breaths in and out. We're redefining or defining what it is that we value the most at this point in time. What is most important? And that is what the major focus of this full moon lunar eclipse is all about. All right, everybody, blessings. And yes, blessings. Let's bless us all. Namaste.